It's really, really meaningful. Having someone message you that I haven't laughed since October 7th and your video made me laugh for the first time, that gives me chills. Like, that's crazy.
What's crazy to think about is where you would be right now if October 7th never happened.
There are places in Israel where Jews can't go because it's special for Arabs.
Most of the people who are making all these ridiculous claims about Israel have never even set foot in the Middle East.
Kind of like how people turn Jew into a slur. Like when people say, oh, you're Jewish, or you Jews, or the Jews. That's like, it became derogatory because of the way people are saying it. They're doing the same thing with Zionism.
You're a Zionist. You're a Zionist pig. As far as I'm concerned, being a Zionist just means that you believe that the Jews deserve a state.
And what you're saying about if I make fun of like the Jewish people, and now am I opening the door for anti-Semites? I think no, because if you have common sense and you're a normal human being, and someone says a funny joke about Jews, that doesn't mean you see a Jew in the street and you beat the crap out of him because someone said it's a joke. There's still common sense.
I love the perspective of just like laughing at the absurdity, because that's really what these last couple of years have been all about.
I'm seeing firsthand the power of people smiling. You're taking a situation that is so dark and so depressing and heavy, and then you're adding laughter to it that can make people really come out of a depression, of this dark place.
What is up? Welcome back to the Jeremy Awakens podcast. We out here with the man, the myth, the legend. Today's guest is someone I've really been trying to get on the show. I've been talking to his mom, who's his manager. It's been a challenge, but we're finally making it happen today. This guest is someone who is using his humor as a healing weapon and the truth as his microphone. Yechiel Jacobs is really shaking up the world right now with his viral Jewish skits and unapologetic takes on the madness of the modern world. He's not just a content creator, he's a modern day light spreader, a spiritual warrior, and a walking reminder that comedy can be so healing. So in a time when anti-Semitism is on the rise, misinformation is everywhere, Yechiel is showing up boldly, using humor to really educate and awaken the masses. So Yechiel, my man, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. That was a bomb introduction. That was very good.
Dog, I'm sweating over here, bro. You got me a little nervous. It's really amazing to have you here. And, you know, there's some crossover between our paths because I've been creating content for 6-7 years, but never anything Jewish related, nothing Israel related up until October 7th. That was like a major turning point in my own journey. Mm-hmm. And I know you weren't even posting content to the internet, right? Before the 7th.
Yeah, nothing.
So take us a little behind the scenes to that journey and that process and how October 7th, one of the most tragic days in Jewish history, really awakened your soul and awakened this fire within.
Yeah, so like you said, I wasn't posting anything before October 7th. I had a private Instagram account. I had 800 followers on Instagram. I would post like going out for dinner with like my grandmother, you know, nothing
wholesome content.
Yeah, just, you know, my life. And October 7th happened. At the time I was working, I was involved in real estate investing, classic like Jewish things. And October 7th happened, and like everyone, you know, you feel this like sense of like horror and anger and frustration. And what really got me to get involved was probably anger and frustration. I'm like seeing these videos of people after we have one of the worst massacres in modern day history. These people saying not only, and we didn't even respond yet. We didn't even attack back. We didn't even defend ourselves yet. And people saying how we're at fault, we're wrong, we deserve this. And I'm like, this is crazy. And I wasn't seeing any content out there that was kind of fighting these people to make me feel like, okay, like someone has our back. So I get in my car, I put my phone on, and I just go off. And I do it in this funny character, because that's what I know humor. That's what I do. I was always like the class clown. I was always doing funny bits. And I decided to just go off, and I do my first video, and I upload it. I turn my Instagram account public, and I get 500,000 views in like 3 days. And I'm like, what the heck just happened? This is insane. And then from there, I did another video that passes 1 million. And then since then, I've just been doing as much content as I can. And I've gone from 800 followers on Instagram to close to 500,000 on all social media platforms. It's crazy journey.
It's such a beautiful story too, because you created purpose from your pain, the pain that you were feeling, the pain that the Jewish people were feeling, right? And it's interesting because like I felt something very similar, and it happened literally instantaneously after October 7th. Like, that's what was so mind blowing. It's like, okay, what happened was absolutely tragic, but we also know who Hamas is. Like, the biggest surprise of that is that the Israeli intelligence somehow slipped on this.
Yeah.
Right? But like, it was the worldwide response, bro. That was absolutely mind blowing. And, you know, it's also a reminder that I feel like all of these dark nights of the soul are actually blessings in disguise. Like, we wouldn't be sitting down having this conversation right now.
Right.
You wouldn't be on the path that you're on without that really tragic event happening. How were you able to, I guess, keep the momentum going after those first couple clips? Because that's a massive hit of dopamine.
Yeah.
It's like you go from nobody knowing you to millions of people watching your content. How were you able to kind of navigate the emotions of that and stay consistent with creating?
So I think the emotions is what kept me going. It was the feeling of like, the feeling that I had for me was almost like a therapy session doing my videos, because I'm expressing how I'm feeling, this anger and frustration that I'm feeling. And it's also it's actually going to places where people are seeing it and it's having an effect. So I was able, after each video I did, I had like I'm doing something, or these people are being taken down, or I'm proving them wrong, and it's actually getting out there and people are seeing like the truth of what's really happening. So the emotion was a huge part of me keep going. Like, that's what kept me going, was the emotion. And I think throughout I've been able to hold on to the passion and the feeling, being proud to be Jewish and standing up for what's right is really what pushes me to go. And then from there, I'm kind of navigating and starting doing comedy shows and doing more content, but it's the emotion, which is initially what started this whole thing, that I'm keep going throughout the whole way.
You said in another podcast, I remember, when you hit about the 5,000 follower mark, that's when you started to get a lot of negative feedback.
Yeah.
You had people sending death threats in the DMs and stuff like that. You know, there's either two ways you can go in that situation. There's one where it's like, yo, I'm going to let that fear really stop me from continuing this path, or I'm going to just use this as more fuel. Obviously, you used it as more fuel.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, is that something that you feel like is embedded in your DNA? Just that ability to like keep going and persevering?
I think so. I think my personality is very much like, if I want to do something, I'll go for it 100%, and don't do it halfway, 100%. And that was the decision. I almost stopped doing what I was doing out of like fear for like my family. Like, when my mom gets a message like, we're gonna find out where you live, like that's like, I got to take a step back and be like, okay, like, is this even like a smart decision to keep doing this? But once I spoke to like my family and friends, and I came to the conclusion like what I'm doing is right. And if I stop doing what I'm doing, they silence me, and that means they literally won. And we can't live in a world like that, where if no one's going to speak up for what's right, then no one's going to say anything, and that's it. It's done. So I decided to change gears and go harder. And since then, I'm like, I'm very happy with it, and I'm just keep going.
What's crazy to think about is where you would be right now if October 7th never happened. Because you'd probably be growing in the real estate space, but you would be disconnected from your true gift. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you were put here to do exactly what you're doing now. And that's also beautiful to witness. Like, you're walking in your purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that's why so many people have gravitated to your energy. It's because they're like, yo, in all of this darkness, this man is just bringing light. He's bringing truth. Do you ever think about that? Like, because you might be super unhappy right now, like working a job that you didn't even like, and instead you're just having so much fun changing the world.
Yeah, I'm so lucky. I feel so lucky that I really do. Like you said, I really feel like I'm doing what I was meant to do. That's what I'm doing, and I'm able to use like my talents for something that's not just getting big, but for doing something that's like meaningful. It's really, really meaningful. Having someone message you that I haven't laughed since October 7th, and your video made me laugh for the first time, that gives me chills. Like, that's crazy. And so to be able to do that and do what I love, it's amazing. I feel so good, so blessed, really blessed.
Was there any point where people that were close to you, your family or friends, when you made that decision, like, yo, I'm going all in, there's no turning back.
Yeah.
We're putting the foot on the gas. Was there anyone like, are you sure, dude? Like, it's much more safe and comfortable to just like do real estate, right? Was there anyone in your ear about that, or were most people encouraging you to keep going?
Everyone's very encouraging. The whole family. Everyone's very, very encouraging. They loved what I was doing. They saw what the effect of it was, and I mean, obviously, my family's very encouraging. They respect like whatever I decided. They would have been very supportive if I decided not to, also. But overall, very, very encouraging.
What would you say to someone like the person in high school or college right now who's like following that traditional path? Because one of the things that I see in my life is, I coach a lot of high-level executives, entrepreneurs, and a lot of these people, they've achieved material success.
Yeah.
Right? They've climbed the ladder in their corporate life, or they're a successful entrepreneur, but that connection to their soul has been lost.
Right.
What are some things that people can do to actually like reconnect to that part of themselves?
I feel like I got lucky. Like it fell on my lap situation.
Yeah.
Where something came up, I did it, and I kind of discovered through this. Also, it wasn't like this was a plan, like to become a comedian and start doing these things. It was like as a kid, I wanted to be on Disney Channel, but not like a full-on comedian doing shows and content. So it kind of fell on my lap. But I think for anybody else is like, people know what you're passionate about. There's certain things that get you excited when you're talking to somebody and you talk about something that you're passionate about. You'll know because you're talking about it. Whether you're an introvert or not, when something's passionate to you, you'll talk about it. So find out what that is and start pursuing it more. Whether it's you like playing a certain sport, or you like giving speeches or public speaking, whatever it is, kind of like tap into that a little bit more and start doing it more. And then an opportunity can happen where, like for me, this happened. Something could fall into your lap and you can pursue it 100%. But find out what you're passionate about and really lean into it.
Who are some of the people that, when you were a kid, inspired you, like from an acting perspective or a comedy perspective? For me, Jim Carrey was like my biggest inspiration, bro.
Yeah.
Like Liar, Liar, The Mask. I was a big Austin Powers fan too. So I'm curious to know, like for you, who are some of those people that inspired you when you were younger?
So, it's interesting because it wasn't like comedy was like a passion of mine for a long time. It was something that I discovered.
Yeah.
So I didn't have like comedians on my wall that I'm like, one day I'm gonna be that person. But at the time, and now, Sebastian Maniscalco, I don't know if you know him, he's an Italian comedian. That's where my voice comes from. Where it all started off, I started as impersonating Sebastian's voice. He talks like, "What are you doing? You have nothing better to do with your time?" Like that's how he talks.
Yeah.
And his personality is very much like, he looks at he makes stupid people feel really, really stupid, and he brings out like really like the ridiculous things in situations. So that was the perfect character to kind of start with. So Sebastian at the time was, I guess you could say, is somebody that I look up to, or his humor is definitely what resonated with me to start doing these videos. Jim Carrey also, I love Jim Carrey, hilarious. But I never had anyone specifically that I'm like, one day I'm gonna be that person. Even now, I don't have like a specific person that I'm looking to be. I want to be the best me I could be, but no one specific that I'm like, that's the person I want to be.
Yeah, I wonder who is that person for like today's generation. Like what actors and people and personalities are out there that are like really inspiring people in that comedic sense? Because I feel like so much of it is so politically correct now. Like Hollywood is trash.
Yeah, so bad.
You know what I'm saying?
So bad. But comedians are not. Comedians are still pushing the line, which is the beauty of comedy. Is you can take it and you can take it past the line, and you can kind of like dance with it, see how far you can go with it still being okay. So we're still good in the comedy world, but Hollywood, it's way too filtered.
How? Because when I'm talking about everything that's happening in Israel, everything that's happening in the world, it invokes a lot of anger. It invokes a lot of passion, right? A lot of emotion. And I think what's so beautiful about what you've been able to create is you've been able to like use that anger and channel it in a way that actually shines light on the situation, which is insane. Like, and we can go through these like one by one, but the whole idea, when was the last time you were in Israel?
About 6 months ago.
So this whole idea, bro, that like Israel is an apartheid state is just such a factual lie. Like when you go to Israel, you'll have Uber drivers that are Arabs.
Yeah.
Over 20% of the population is Arab.
Yeah.
And I would love to just one by one like debunk some of these myths, because when people are just getting all their information from TikTok, it can be very misleading.
Yeah. TikTok has been very dangerous.
Has your content been hitting as hard on TikTok or no?
No. I've been banned on TikTok twice.
Right.
I was banned, which is crazy. I was banned, the first time I got banned on TikTok is when Sinwar was killed. And a lady on TikTok, or some random girl on TikTok, made a video about Sinwar saying he was a hero. He was an amazing person. He died a legend, and he was not like praising him. And I basically took that video, which is the craziest thing you could say about somebody who made this crazy thing about October 7th and set the whole thing up and murdering people and kidnapping innocent people. So I made a video response to her. And that video response is what got me taken off of TikTok, responding to a lady saying how this crazy terrorist was a good person. She didn't get taken down, but I got banned for responding to her on TikTok. So that was crazy. That was the first time I got taken down. And I had to start over. That was like I think 30,000 followers towards, And then I had to start it again, but TikTok's definitely more difficult to grow.
I've been taken down. I have 1.4 million followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
Not even for Israel stuff, but like even just speaking the truth.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I don't know if you've seen like the algorithm in China. Like in China, they're pushing out like educational videos, like how kids can be more intelligent, become engineers, do these things, make a significant impact in society. In America, the algorithm is just pushing absolute nonsense.
That's crazy.
It's just half-naked girls like dancing.
Yeah.
So they don't want the truth, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you're speaking. Bro, that's so wild. So where are you at now with TikTok?
Followers or I'm at
just
63,000. But like I'll do a video. My past two videos did really well, like 500,000 each, and then after that, before that was at like 500 views. Like that, it doesn't make sense. The algorithm. It doesn't make sense.
Have you been able to detach yourself from the outcomes of like, oh, this video crushed it, and then like the next one kind of flops a little bit? Like, have you been able to kind of detach yourself from the numbers and metrics?
So that was so hard. It's so funny you're reminding me of this. Like in the beginning, that really affected me. Like really, like my mental everything. If I did a video and it did really well, I was the happiest person. You could feel the energy and it would vibrate. If I did a video and it didn't do as well as hoping, like my mood completely switched and I was in a bad mood or I was down and I wasn't motivated to make more content. And it was really a struggle. I've gotten better with it now, but it was a really struggle. Like it completely depended on how well my video did is how I was gonna act. And now I've separated it and now I'm like, I know what I do is good and I know when I make a good video. And for me, I don't need the validation of views or comments. I'm ready so like 100% with what I'm doing that I'm good. And I'll do it and I'm gonna keep doing my thing. But in the beginning, that was really difficult.
That's amazing, bro. I'm glad you learned that lesson at this stage of life. Because what oftentimes happens, and I'm sure you see this all the time, like living in South Florida and Miami, is like so often people attach themselves and they attach their identity to what watch they're wearing or what car they're driving or how many views they're getting on a video. So the fact that you've been able to kind of zoom out and detach is massively important for your mental health, bro. Because I've definitely been there.
Yeah.
It can be exhausting, like just when that is determining your mental health and your state. Yeah,
it's dangerous. I think social media as a whole, that's like one of the most dangerous parts of social media is like we're so dependent on this. Also, we're also portraying like a fake lifestyle for the most part. Everyone's posting the best of the best. They're posting, when they look so good, and if no one likes that part of you, or you feel like that part's not being like validated, then the part of you that that you're not showing to everybody else, you feel even worse about that. Like, you know what I mean?
We're always posting the highlight reel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of our lives. And one of the things that I'm really passionate about is actually just being very truthful and honest and transparent about some of the challenges, some of the obstacles, because it's usually those painful moments and experiences in our life that actually allow us to create the massive breakthroughs and like find our purpose and become the best version of ourselves. For you, going back to your childhood, I want to know, like, was there something really challenging that you had to overcome, whether it was, your parents, school, anything like that really helped shape the person that you are today?
So there's one thing. I was born in Israel, and then I moved to New York when I was about 4.5.
Okay.
And when I was in the schooling, I had like they put me like in it was like the special ed class, like for learning disabilities, because I moved from Israel. I was like slower on reading and spelling in the very beginning. And I kind of like was in this position where I always felt growing up, like for all of elementary school, like I have a disability. I can't read well. I can't spell well. I'm slow. That was the feeling I had. And I came to terms with it because I was in this class. They put me in a class with people that were actually like with issues. Kids were drooling like real issues.
Wow.
And I was someone there with a reading disability or and it made me think for a second, like I'm kind of like that. And I felt that way. And I limited myself in learning. I was interested in studying. I felt like I couldn't do a lot of things, especially like academically. Wow. And then I remember my principal came to me in 8th grade and she told me, she's like, she was very, very harsh on it, but I appreciate it a lot. She came up to me, she's like, at the rate you're going, she's like, you're not gonna get into college, and you're not gonna be able to find a good job, and no one wants to marry someone that doesn't have a job. And this is
How old were you?
I was in 8th grade, so maybe 13.
Okay.
But that really freaked me out. But that made me like change gears. She knew that I was able to like study. Anyways, long story short, end of high school, I ended up graduating with the most awards in the entire grade. I completely switched gears. I started studying and applying myself, and I was able to really, really grow. I went from literally the disabled class. I was in the basement with the kids drooling, to like by award night getting the most awards in the entire grade. And that for me was like a switch where I'm like, there's a lot of things in life that I'm limiting myself in that potentially I could be doing way better. And I could be, I can do better than I think. So I started doing that. And I think I apply that also with just accomplishment in social media and with doing things that make you nervous. Just apply yourself and you can do way more than you think.
We have an epidemic right now of people struggling with things like ADHD. Mm-hmm. And like I was told I had ADD when I was like 7 years old. And as I gotten older, I realized like, that ADD was actually a superpower. Like I might struggle to focus on one thing, but when I find something that I'm passionate about, like I'm able to give all of my energy and focus to that thing.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes it's the same thing with like these disabilities. Those are actually like our superpowers and strengths.
Yeah.
I want to know about the impact that your mom has had on you, because I know she's your manager. Yeah. I had to go through your mom, Danielle, if you're listening to this. I appreciate you protecting your boy and allowing him to come on the pod. What's the influence that your mom has had on you in your life?
She's an amazing influence. My mom if people know, check her up on Instagram, so Danielicious. She's hilarious. She's an amazing personality. She's been making people smile and laugh her entire life. She's always been a performer in school. She's always been, and for me, growing up, she always by Shabbat table, she'd be like, Yechiel, do this impersonation or do this joke or do this thing. And she always pushed me to bring out my comedy side. Very, 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 very encouraging. And my mom finds me the funniest in the whole world. I say something that I don't even think is that funny and she's dying. So for me, she's been a huge encouragement. And for where I am today, she was a huge part in getting me there, just developing just my personality, just from being around her and seeing how she makes people laugh and learning from her.
Yo, that's so big. I literally got goosebumps when you said that, because the fact that your mom identified that you had this unique gift early on and then encouraged you and pushed you to lean into it fully, that's so valuable, bro.
Yeah.
Because there's so many parents in that situation that would be like, no, actually you're distracting and disturbing people.
Go to college.
Be quiet. Yeah, follow the traditional route. So that's such a blessing. That's a gift. And then what about your dad? What was your relationship with your dad like? Also
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm blessed with the most amazing parents in the world, really. My dad also is so encouraging, beyond. Anything I wanted to do, he was also a huge part of me, anything I wanted to do, he wouldn't be like, oh, that's dangerous or it's nerve-wracking. He's like, let's do it. Let's figure out how we could do it. I have a crazy idea. Let's do it, Yechiel. Let's figure it out. And then he'll guide me through things. Anything I did, I got involved in real estate at 19. I bought my first house at 19 years old. And I took all the money. I worked my whole life, always hustling, babysitting, anything I could do, selling watches in elementary school, to make money.
Wow.
And I took all the money I had and I put it towards a down payment for a house at 19. This is everything I had, which is very nerve-wracking. And also, this came alongside with the decision that I'm not going to college because I want to get involved in real estate. And my dad, both my parents were very supportive, and specifically my dad was very much absolutely, Yechiel, you can do this, you will do this, let's figure out how to do this. And with everything that I did, always wanted to start a soccer team in my school. We never had one. So I wanted to do it, let's figure out how to do it. And and even now, everything I do, I have a video idea, he's super supportive, he's on top of it, unbelievable. So both my parents have definitely shaped me to the person I am today, and I'm so grateful.
What's the process for you, creatively? For making a video, because you do a lot of reaction type videos, a lot of those stitches. So are you finding those and then like, are you batching, a couple hours a day where you're filming content? Do you have anyone on your team that's supporting you? Is it mostly still just you? I wanted to know a little bit behind the scenes of the operation.
Yeah. So, I mean, for the most part, it's a one-man show. I'll find videos. I'm constantly reinventing myself, which is what you have to do on social media to stay relevant. And also, social media, it's the war of staying relevant. That is social media. And so you have to change things up constantly. You have to switch it up. So as far as me for content-wise, I'll find videos on TikTok, which is a great source for crazy videos to respond to because there's so many lies there. So I'll go there, I'll find the craziest videos, I'll watch them, I'll download them, I'll upload them to CapCut, which is the app that I use to edit all my videos, and then I'll just get in the car and I'll just go on a rant. And then as I'm creating content, funny ideas will come to me. I'm feeling it. And the beauty about my videos at the very beginning, they're not professional. It's me just in my car going off on a rant, which is very real and very relatable. If I do like a whole studio or a whole production, have a whole team, people can't so much relate to that. It could be a cool, funny skit, but with this stuff, specifically with Israel that I was doing on October 7th, people needed to hear it from somebody that was like their next door neighbor or like somebody that's saying something that, because I think the reason why I was able to blow up so much is because I was saying things that everyone was thinking, and it was so relatable to people. And it's like, finally, this kid is saying what I'm thinking. He's like, I'm like kind of like expressing it for them, and I think that's why I was able to blow up. And that's the situation. And as far as social media, I'm very much just constantly thinking, always looking for what's going on, things that are relevant, always thinking of funny material and just pounding it.
For the idea that you said, like, your content's always going to be evolving. That's just like the human experience of being being a human is like we're constantly growing.
Yeah.
And the stuff that you're going to want to talk about is going to also evolve and change. And the way that you communicate is also going to evolve and change. And it's cool. Like you've already accomplished a lot, but at the same time, you're just getting started.
Yeah.
And that's what's exciting. So what do you think was the most ridiculous story or claim or propaganda that was going viral after October 7th?
Directly after October 7th? So there were so many things that, first of all, October 7th just brought everything to the table. October 7th happens, one of the worst massacres in modern day history. All of a sudden, the other side starts bringing in apartheid. They start bringing in colonialism. They start bringing in a whole like basically justifying why Hamas attacked is because Israel's X, Y, and Z. And it comes with a whole thing of so many different things that they were saying that were crazy. I heard apartheid a lot. It was an apartheid state. They suppress, it's Jews only. Jews have special rights. Arabs, everybody else has no rights. Arabs specifically are being oppressed in Israel. And for me, that was one of my first videos also. I did a video on a lady saying this, and I brought the proof of how Israel is not an apartheid state, that there was an Arab judge who literally sentenced a Jewish president to jail using the Israeli system. So an Arab put a Jew in jail who was a president of Israel. It's like a crazy, and you want to tell me it's an apartheid state? Are you crazy? Did you look into it? Have you ever been to Israel? Like, also, it's very far. You've been to Israel.
Yeah.
So for people that have been there and actually lived there, to see people saying things that when you just walk down the street, it's so blatantly obvious how lie. There are places in Israel where Jews can't go because it's special for Arabs.
Exactly.
The other side of the kotel, the Israeli soldiers will tell you, don't go. It's not safe for you to go there. It's right now also a specific time of the year. It's specifically for the Muslims.
Yeah.
And the Israeli government will not let Jews go in there. There is nowhere in Israel where Arabs cannot just walk around in Israel. Nowhere. It doesn't either. You have checkpoints in dangerous areas where 3 days before an Arab tried stabbing someone or an Arab ran over kids in the street because we need checkpoints. But to say these things, Israel's an apartheid, Israel's doing a genocide, Israel's a colonial state, they're so blatantly false. It's crazy.
And I think you bring up such an important point too, which is one of the big areas of frustration for me is like, dude, most of the people who are making all these ridiculous claims about Israel have never even set foot in the Middle East.
Yeah.
They're literally just parroting propaganda that they're seeing on TikTok. And when I was spending time in Jerusalem last summer, there were multiple mosques that I would run by and I would hear their prayer.
Yeah.
Right? And like I told you, I had many Uber drivers who were Arabs. And it's interesting, bro, how people have such a problem with the Jews having their own state. It's like, yo, there's 57 Muslim countries. There's over 120 Christian countries. The Jewish people aren't allowed to have one country for our safety, which, by the way, the only reason that Israel exists is because 6 million of our people got exterminated during the Holocaust. Like, can we just bring back some common sense?
And it's not even like we get to have one country. It's our land.
Yeah.
It's our ancestral homeland. It's literally the land that's been our Bible is all about our homeland. It's not even like we went to some random place and we deserve to have our own country. We're in our home. This is like where we belong. These are our places. You dig down, you find Jewish artifacts. You don't find Palestinian artifacts. You don't find Arab artifacts. You find, if you dig deep down, it's the Jewish land. So that's even crazier. Granted, we should have our own state, absolutely. But to tell us we don't have the right to our own state in our own homeland, that's where it's like, you're crazy. You know what I mean? Like, that's nuts.
So that's another thing too, that is also, it's one of these common criticisms is like, you're a Zionist pig. And as far as I'm concerned, being a Zionist just means that you believe that the Jews deserve a state, which is our ancestral homeland.
Yeah.
Is there any other meaning to a Zionist?
No, that is the definition of a Zionist is a person that believes that the Jewish people have a right to live in their ancestral homeland. That is a Zionist. The other side, very smartly, completely slandered the word and turned it into baby killer, genocide, and using all the lies that they made up and putting that as a Zionist. So someone will see, like a Zionist, they're turning Zionist into a slur. Kind of like how people turn Jew into a slur. Like when people say, oh, you're Jewish, or you Jews, or the Jews. That's like, it became derogatory because of the way people are saying it. They're doing the same thing with Zionism, saying you're a Zionist. They're turning it into almost a slur because they're associating their lies and these made up things with something that's completely not that at all. And they run with it. And if you lie long enough, people believe you.
I'm curious to know from a comedy perspective, because there's a lot of Jewish stereotypes out there.
Yeah,
right.
Plenty.
And some of them have validity to them.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm curious to know, how do you walk that fine line? Like if you're going to tell a Jewish joke.
Yeah.
Right. For instance, it's like you want to be able to kind of laugh at ourselves, laugh at our people. But then is that also giving permission for other people to potentially say something anti-Semitic? Do you think about that? How do you balance that?
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. It's a very fine line. There's a fine line between making fun of something and laughing about a situation and bringing out the important points. I've managed to navigate on this fine line, bringing out very important points while bringing humor to the situation. It doesn't make fun of the situation. It makes fun of the lies and the stupidity of the situation and brings out the point, which is the truth in the situation. So that's what I'm navigating. And comedy is all about navigating and seeing how far you could go to that line. And what you're saying about if I make fun of like the Jewish people, right? And now am I opening the door for anti-Semites? Now they can... I think no, because if you have common sense and you're a normal human being and someone says a funny joke about Jews, that doesn't mean you see a Jew in the street and you beat the crap out of him because someone said it's a joke. There's still common sense. Humor is very much common sense. And it's kind of like you have to understand like there's a joke and you could take things too far. It exists, absolutely. But also people are responsible for their own acts. If someone makes a joke about something and you are someone stupid enough to think that it's serious and you have to be a smart, normal person not to do something like to,
God gave us free will.
Yeah.
Like it's really up to us to exercise it. And like you said, really be able to actually see things from a place that's not super emotional and be like, yo, like I love the perspective of just like laughing at the absurdity.
Yeah.
Because that's really what these last couple of years have been all about. Even the whole idea of like free Palestine.
Yeah.
Right? I think you would probably agree, like, yes, free Palestine from Hamas, who's been in power for what, the last 19 years? Since 2005?
Yeah.
And Hamas has received billions of dollars in foreign aid, funding, and all of that money has literally just gone to funding terror, funding hate, funding tunnels.
Yeah.
And I think a beautiful, like, description of this, like Israel is getting bombed right now and their people actually are safe because they actually build infrastructure to provide safety for the people in bomb shelters. the golden, what is it? The golden dome?
Iron Dome.
Iron Dome. And it's like, we need to actually uncover the truth rather than just say these trendy ass things.
Right.
You know, the gays for Gaza.
Yeah. So that's a personal favorite.
How ridiculous is that, bro?
It's crazy. It's really crazy. And the only thing you could do in a situation like this is laugh. It's all you could do is laugh and make fun of something. You can't like it's so crazy. If you know the tiniest bit of information on the situation, you would never say, I'm a gay person that supports Palestine. Because the elected officials of Palestine are Hamas, who will openly kill gay people. Openly. No, like they're denying it. They openly do it. They openly say these things, which is also another crazy concept. It's not like we're fighting against somebody who's like hiding and they're like, no, it's not true. And this is the propaganda. They openly say, like, I do videos like as a Hamas character. And like, it's like, I did a therapy session of this woke gay person that's pro Hamas and then a Hamas guy. And they're in a therapy session, and there's a therapist talking to them, and the woke person's like, right, you love me so much, and you care about me, and then the Hamas guy like, I literally want you to die. And she's like, you're dying over me? That's so cute. Like they're just not getting they're not getting it. They're completely not getting it. And there's so much humor behind that, and it's also so scary that like how like that. This is where anti-Semitism comes to play. Okay, it's one thing to criticize the Israeli government, and it's totally fine. Every government you could criticize them and look into it, but there's a certain level of like. There's a certain level of you're not criticized, like when something's so obvious and there's no reason to think otherwise and you still have a problem with it, like there's something else behind it. I think that's where anti-Semitism comes to play, where you don't have a problem with the state of Israel. You have a problem with the Jewish state of Israel. There's something more, because logically, and my common sense is telling me there's no reason why you would be supporting a terrorist organization who openly says and does the things that they do, while holding hostages, while encouraging, they want to kill Israelis, they want to kill Jews, they want America to die. Like, they're openly saying these things, and yet you still support them. So there has to be an underlying thing that's encouraging this, and I think that's anti-Semitism. I think that's where anti-Semitism comes to play.
Yeah, and it's interesting also to like think about why. Like, why is there so much anti-Semitism? Like, why is there so much hate? And what comes up for me, I mean, I know it's a complex issue, but like what comes up for me is like Jews have a lot of power. The fact that the Jewish people are only 0.2% of the world's population, bro.
Yeah.
That means out of 1,000 people, 2 of them on average are going to be Jewish. So 0.2% of the population, but we've won 22% of the Nobel Prizes. We continue just to like run different industries, whether it's real estate, finance, whatever. And I think people see that and they're like, how? Like, how are the Jewish people so small in size able to have so much influence and impact in the world?
Yeah. And
rather than actually digging into the truth, they just play victim and lead with hate.
Right. So it's easier option. It's easier option rather than looking at it as and seeing the real situation. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Have you received a lot of messages from people who aren't Jewish? Have you connected with a lot of people who aren't Jewish who are like, yo, you know what? Like, I didn't really know anything about what's going on, but you really helped me actually understand things from a more logical perspective.
Yeah.
Have you connected with a lot of people from
that?
Yeah,
I get a lot of those. And I'm able to get those because I'm using humor. Because these people, like, you know how the algorithm feeds you what you want to see. Which is also super dangerous on social media, because how are we going to learn the other side's perspective in anything if we're always hearing what we want to hear? But humor allows a message to kind of break out of the echo chamber, because everybody likes to laugh. It's a funny video, and then I bring a message in at the end. So it's able to get to certain people that wouldn't see it. And part of those people, a lot of them are not Jewish. So they're getting my content, and they've always heard, they've never been passionate about Israel, Palestine, they don't really care. But what they hear in the back of their head, they're hearing Israel's doing all these things to the Palestinian people, Israel's an apartheid state, Israel's doing a genocide, and they hear this in the back of their head. And then this video comes on of this kid that's, it's funny, it's a great, funny, entertaining video, but he just brought a really good point about Israel. That's so interesting. And then they go into my page and they start watching a bunch more videos, and then they DM me, and they'd be like, bro, you just completely blew my mind. I didn't know this, and I got a lot of messages like that. And humor is the key of that, the tool that I was able to use to get to those people.
Are you ready to feel limitless in 2025? I'm talking limitless physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, financially. This is your sign to try out microdosing for 30 days. We have a very special opportunity for podcast listeners. You can get started for only $222. This includes the medicine being shipped to you, the highest quality, fair trade, organic, sustainably sourced microdoses in the world at your doorstep. And you also get access to live group coaching calls with me, our private community. This is your sign to take ownership of your life in 2025. If you're ready, hit the link in the description, and I can't wait to see you on the inside.
And humor is the key of that, the tool that I was able to use to get to those people.
Yeah, I guess humor is like the universal language. It really doesn't matter what language you speak. Like, everyone laughs and feels the joy of laughter, because laughter is healing. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, like,
so healing.
There's something special about just being in a state of, like, you have to be present when you're laughing. You can't be dwelling on the past or fearing the future. Like, you have to be so connected to whatever you're consuming that makes you laugh, and it makes you feel like a child again.
That's cool. That's a good point. You have to be present. Like, you can't genuinely laugh if you're thinking about something else.
No.
So that really brings you. So if you're going through a very tough time and then you start laughing, it's taking you away from that tough time, and you're in this moment of, like, in the moment, and you're laughing about something that makes you happy. That's a good point.
I have a tattoo here that says now. I'm always doing my best to remind myself, like, to be in this moment.
I love
and
that.
I feel like that's a really big challenge that we're all facing today. Awesome. And I think again, like, if you that's a powerful perspective to have. Like, I help people heal in different ways, with mushrooms, with breath work, with ice baths. You're actually a really powerful healer. I don't know if you ever think about it like that, but it's a unique perspective.
Yeah.
That you're actually not only bringing truth to the world, but you're actually bringing healing to the world.
I think a big part of it, for me, more important than bringing the truth out about what's going on, bigger than that, is making the Jewish people laugh during such a difficult time. That was the number one goal. And originally the goal wasn't a goal. I just did it out of anger, frustration, and I needed to respond and do something. But looking back at it, the most meaningful thing for me was making the Jewish people, and also anybody who's going through pain and agony, seeing what's going on. And in general, like, people come to my page because they're having a tough day. They'll go to my page, you watch a couple of reels, and you're smiling and you're laughing and you're happy. That's incredible.
Got to keep going.
Yeah.
What are some of the other? So one of the things, I mean, currently with everything, and this is actually, I think, probably one of the biggest areas of disconnection and misunderstanding is everything that's been happening the last couple of weeks with Israel and Iran, right? It's so important to decipher the difference between the Iranian people, who are actually, like, the Persian people are amazing people, the best, right? The 92 million people that are living in Iran versus the Islamic regime that's been in power since 1979. Same thing with deciphering between the Palestinian people and Hamas, right? And unfortunately, some of those lines are a little blurry, right? But it's so important to understand, like, Israel is not waging a war on Iran, the people. It's about removing this regime. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people don't actually understand that, even though it seems very basic to you and I. Right? It's like, okay, America bombed 3 of the biggest nuclear sites in Iran. That is actually an amazing thing, because it's creating more world peace. 0 civilian casualties, by the way.
Crazy is that.
That's unheard of. So not only is America protecting its ally in Israel, it's protecting peace in the Middle East, because Iran is funding
It's also
Hamas.
protecting themselves. The Iranian regime openly says they want to wipe out America.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just insane when you think about that. I mean, we can go deep down the rabbit hole, but I think that's, like, a big area that people misunderstand, because, listen, if I wasn't Jewish, even as someone who is Jewish and who spent so much time in Israel, if you see some of the sites from Gaza when it was really, like, in the middle of the war, right? Some of those visuals are really hard to see and look at. And people are emotional. So it's understandable that people would have this type of reaction
Absolutely.
viscerally when they're seeing all of that, but then it's like peeling the layers back to the truth.
Yeah. So that's their number one strategy. Hamas wanted this to happen. It's in their best interest because
Of course.
Hamas, if you think about it from even like a strategic standpoint, Hamas has no chance of defeating the state of Israel. They're nowhere near as strong. They don't have the military capabilities to do so. Hamas's best option is getting the world on their side. Now, how do you do that? You attack a country, you incite violence, you steal their people, and then you hide their people amongst your own people, and you make the only way they can get their people back or destroy you, this evil entity, is by going and attacking the areas where your people are, where you specifically and deliberately put them. This is Hamas's goal. It is in their best interest. The more their own people die, they make sure to get it on video and they make sure to get it out there and be like, look what Israel's doing to us. And it's horrible. First of all, let me be clear. Like, what's happening to the Palestinian people is terrible. There's so much destruction there, and innocent people are dying, and it's terrible. It's absolutely horrible, and it needs to stop. But it needs to stop at a point where there isn't a threat towards our family anymore, where we get our family back, and they're not going to attack us or let another October 7th happen again. To just stop it and be like, hey, what's happening is horrible. Let's just stop. Okay, we stopped. Now Hamas is still there, and our family, our wives, our kids are still being held hostage. It's the craziest thing. We can't just leave them there. We're put in a position where there is literally no other option than to go in and do what we're doing, because they're putting us in that position by they hide their weapons in schools and hospitals under their own. This is their only way of getting a chance for the world to turn on Israel, is by playing the victim and putting Israel in a position that they have to be in, because it's protect your family over any other family, like any father would, any person would do that. And then videoing when things happen that are horrible and blaming it on Israel. That is the strategy, and that's what they do. And and the new generation is very sensitive. And when they see a horrible video, which terrible videos are coming out of Gaza, terrible, horrible things. But when they see that video, they don't take a second to be like, how is this happening? How can we really stop this? It's this person's suffering. It must be these people are right. Israel's the aggressor. They must be wrong. I've made my decision. I'm going to go and protest in the street. That is what's going on.
That was a very good summary of things. I think it's also important to understand there's two sides of this equation. One of the sides, which is Israel, America, value human life, right? That's the most valuable thing, is our lives, our existence. The other side, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, the Islamic regime of Iran, they have zero value for human life, even their own people.
Yeah.
Like our goal growing up, our dream is to, make a positive impact, be successful, be healthy, be happy, provide a life for our family and our friends. Their goal is to kill as many Jews as possible. Like, it's a massively huge identity difference and cultural difference that we need to get to the root cause of. It's crazy.
It's insane. You'll never see a Jew do a suicide bombing.
That would be
You know what I mean? Like the fact that suicide bombings was so during like the Intifadas was so common for the Palestinian people to do, and mothers were encouraging their children to do that. That's a crazy concept. Could you imagine a mother's number one priority in life is her child? Can you imagine a mother encouraging a child to go blow themselves up so you could kill a couple of Jews? Just, you know how twisted and evil and manipulated they must be educationally, that they're at a point where mothers are encouraging their children to go blow themselves up. You're dealing with a crazy enemy, crazy. And again, it's not everybody, it's not everyone, but the education system in Gaza that Hamas gives to the people, that is the education system. Martyrism is one of the highest statuses. Is if you have someone in your family that died for Hamas, that gave up their life to kill some Israelis, that is like the highest status. That's what we're dealing with. It's very scary. The world doesn't get it also, because if they got it, they would have more of understanding why we're doing what we're doing, why we have to do what we're doing. It's for survival.
I think it's honestly hard for the average person to comprehend what you just said. Like, to comprehend that level of evil where you have a mom who's supposed to be that nurturer, that caretaker, that provider, and instead of like making sure that you are fed and that you're healthy and that you're happy, it's like they're encouraging you to blow yourself up in order to kill Jews. Like, that's just a crazy...
It's insane.
You wouldn't think that's real. And I don't think people can comprehend the evil that exists in the world.
Yeah.
Like they're calling Hamas freedom fighters.
It's crazy. That's also another big thing that they're pushing. Freedom fighters. Crazy.
So I wonder it's interesting to think about because it seems like the issue is so deep. So it's like, how can we actually reprogram the brains of these kids who are innocent children, but they're being taught these horrendously terrible things that their life should be dedicated to killing Jews? Like, it seems like we have to address that if we're going to improve the situation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like have you thought about like any?
I literally have no idea. It's a crazy situation. All I know is that this problem, we can't sacrifice our own family for it. You know what I mean? Like, we're the ones, like, it's very easy for the world to just be like, oh, here's an idea. Well, try this or do this differently. Do this. We're the ones that get affected if it doesn't go right. It's the Israeli people, the Jewish people that are getting murdered, stabbed, rockets flying over them, that suffer the consequences if we don't deal with the situation. So I don't even know what I know for sure is we have to eliminate the threat. We cannot let them kill our family anymore. After that, we're going to have to figure out how to, I mean, you think about it with like when the Nazis were around, like in Germany, they had the crazy, like Jews were nothing, like kill Jews is no problem. Now you walk around Germany, you're fine. So obviously it's been done where they changed the educational system and things have been, it's possible. It's definitely possible.
And again, these are just similar to the apartheid state. You know, this whole idea of Israel committing a genocide in Gaza. Like the definition of a genocide is a deliberate extermination of people. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, look at the Holocaust. 6 million people exterminated intentionally, right? And if you look at the numbers of actually like population-wise, the population in Gaza has increased by 400% since 1967. Yeah. So if there was a genocide happening, Israel's doing a really shitty job. Yeah. Of making that happen.
Yeah, the worst genocidal people to ever walk the earth. They're not very good at it. Yeah.
But again, people get so attached to these emotions, and then also, I wonder if you've ever heard from someone who's like been so stuck in their ways, like Israel's the aggressor, like it's all Israel's fault, and then a piece of your content or some of your videos actually were able to help them see the truth. Has that happened to you? To your knowledge or
to my knowledge, no. I've never had a conversation with somebody that was, I used to be diehard. It's people that are, my stuff's catered for, if you're neutral, I can get you on board. But for some people that are so extremely diehard that side, like, it's sad to say, I'm not like a pessimist, but like we've lost them. Like really, they're so diehard, like so diehard. And it's, again, it's possible to influence some people and help them see it. But for the most part, the extremist side, it's crazy. It's so extreme. It's very difficult to change.
What is your connection like to God? Because I know you grew up religious, you grew up Orthodox. I'm curious to know, what does that connection look like for you to the Creator?
My connection's strong. Every time, because for me, it's without a doubt, God is there. Because anytime something good happens to me, I'm always saying thank you. Like genuinely, I'm like, wow, thank you so much. This is so exciting. Anytime I'm in a bad situation, I'm always turning to him and being like, please get me out of this. I need, like, I'll do X, Y, and Z if you just hook me up. I'm like, for me, he's so real and so there that naturally when something happens really good or really bad, my first response is either thank you or help me out. That's, so for me, without a doubt. And I grew up religious Orthodox my whole life. So I've always had a strong connection. And God runs the world. He really, really does. And also when you can have that perspective on things in life, it's really powerful. There's something called like hishtadlus. Hishtadlus is when you put in the work and you have to do your hishtadlus. You do your work, God will take care of the rest. And there's another thing called Detaching. Detaching is when you have full faith in God. And if you have hishtadlus, which is when you put in the work and you do everything you can, and then you believe God will take care of the rest, with the mix of Detaching of believing in God and God's got you covered, those things together is a powerhouse. And I live my life like that. I live my life where I always put in the most work I can. At the same time, I know it's all in God's hands. So if it doesn't work out, it wasn't meant to be. And also when you know it's in God's hands and you did the best you could do, you're not stressed. I did the best I could do. The rest is up to God. If I did everything I could possibly do right now and God controls the world, that's in him. Put the stress on God. Let God take care of it. As long as you knew you're doing everything you can do, and it's a very great way of living life, because your stress levels, when you truly believe it, it's very hard to do, and I don't always do it. But when you truly believe it in such stressful situations, you're kind of like, I did my part. I know I did everything I could do. I did my shadlus. Now I just need to have bitachon. Now I just have to believe in God and let Him take care of the rest.
It's not like you're just chilling and expecting everything to just happen for you.
No.
It's like, no, you're actually taking action.
You need both.
Yeah.
You need both.
And then it's understanding like that trust and surrender in God, like understanding that there's only so much you can control.
Yeah. Yeah.
Growing up religious, a lot of people that I've met that grew up religious, they kind of got turned off by Judaism because it seems like a lot of it was pushed onto them at an early age. I'm curious to know if you had any experience like that. Like, was there any period where you kind of like rebelled against Judaism, or like felt like, I want to kind of pursue my own path of spirituality and religion?
I had an amazing experience. I went through the whole yeshiva system. I was in an old boys yeshiva since the very beginning. I went to elementary school, a place called Yeshiva Katana of Long Island. For high school, I went to a place called Mesivta Teres Yaakov. And then in Israel, I did a year in a place called Or Yerushalayim. So I went through the whole system. And for me personally, I had amazing experience. And I know people have very bad experiences. My mother will tell you a very different story.
Your mom?
My mom, from her experience, what she went through. But for me personally, I was very blessed to have amazing rabbis and have people that taught me Judaism in a very healthy way. It wasn't forced on me and pushed on me. It was something that got me excited. I enjoyed it, and I was motivated to learn. I want to learn more about it, and I had a really good experience. And I'm very thankful for all my rabbis and that I've had. They were incredible. And I think for me, I feel like I have a very healthy relationship with God, and I'm always working on it. And I think a huge part of that is from my schools that I went to.
Damn, that's powerful.
But there's so many people that have very different stories, that they went because of school, because of yeshiva, they completely switched and they hate it and they won't even go look at it, and they're traumatized. But I'm very lucky to have a very good experience.
Was there anything that you can think of, speaking of traumas, like, is there anything from your childhood or early on in life that was really challenging? I know your parents got separated, right?
Yeah.
How did that impact you? How old were you when that happened?
So that's probably about 4 years ago.
Okay.
So it's relatively recent, and I'm still figuring it out. I'm still learning. I definitely I'm very much I'm very focused on if I have a goal, I'm going for the goal, and I don't get distracted. But a divorce definitely changes stuff. Like the dynamics change, and my day-to-day change. Like things change, and the family changes. So there's definitely a lot going on there. But I've set also similar timing is when my whole social media thing happened, and I started doing my videos. So that maybe, I don't know, I'm thinking out loud, and maybe subconsciously that was like a huge distraction for me. Maybe that's what also was a huge motivation for me, is like, I don't want to deal with what's happening here. Let me focus. But thank God, as far as divorces go, my parents, they're amazing, and they're in touch with each other, and they're very respectful, and but it's still hard to see two people that you love so much that separate.
Was there any sense of separation that you had? Like, were you surprised by it? Did it catch you off guard, or was it something that you kind of saw coming?
It was something that we saw coming. It wasn't. There were never fights or anger or anything like that. Everything was very respectful, but it was something that we kind of saw. We kind of knew, like, they separated at one point in the beginning when I was younger, like that time when they separated and then got back together, and then it was something that was, I could see. I wasn't like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I called it. I'm like,
yeah.
Like, my sister, like, give me $5. Like,
How many siblings do you have?
I have one sister.
That's it?
Yeah. Who is a legend. My sister, her name is Yechiel Jacobs. She is the most incredible person on planet Earth.
Really?
Let me tell you a little bit about her, because she deserves some praise. She also went to all girls school, grew up the same way.
Okay.
And then high school, she went to mixed high school. All her friends went to SEM. By the end, seminary. You know seminary?
Yeah.
So
it's like the Jewish, it's yeshiva for girls, right?
Exactly, in Israel. So she was the only person in her grade. She went to the army, Israeli army. She decided she wanted to go to the army. She went to the army. No one else went. She told my parents when she was 12, she's like, I'm going to go to the army. And my parents were like, oh, that's so cute. You're not going. And then she turns 18. She's like, bye. Like, where are you going? She's like, to the army. I told you I'm going. And she goes to the army. She does her service in the army. She's in Israel now. She's now working on she's a social worker, and she's incredible, absolutely incredible. She does these she's very spiritual, but also very grounded at the same time. And she does these like Parsha videos every week, where she just talks about like this week's parsha and then connecting to what's going on nowadays. It's called Seek_Grow, giving her a shout out. And she's amazing. And Yochaved's been so supportive to me of everything that I do. And she's a huge part of who I am is Yechaved also. She's a very, very caring sibling. And we fought as kids, but like our relationship always, people were like, how are you guys getting along so well? Thank God I had a very good relationship with her.
Older, younger?
Older.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're dating someone, right? You have a girl?
Mm-hmm.
How long have you guys been together?
We've been together for about 11 months.
11 months. I'm curious to know also, because just to share my experience with you, you know, dated different girls. I've been doing content stuff for like 5 or 6 years, like I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's pretty new. 5 or 6 years you've been doing it?
I don't know. Actually, probably a little longer since 20.
That's good. You've really grown. That's amazing.
So, thank you, bro. So, in that process, I've realized that there's been girls that I've dated and they get a little insecure or jealous, like because they see a bunch of people watching your video or and they see like girls in the comment section or whatever it may be. Yeah. And then I've had girls that I've dated that have been super encouraging and have been like, yo, you're doing amazing. Keep going. Yeah. You can do even bigger. And it's a massive shift because when you're with someone like that, it makes you just feel even more powerful, even more limitless, because it's like, yo, my partner, my girl, like she has my back. And now I feel even more inspired to take things to the next level. I'm curious to know, is that the type of energy you feel from your girlfriend? Like, how has she responded to everything that's been going on with you?
Absolutely. I wouldn't be able to date her if she wasn't like that. She's extremely supportive. She handles the situation very well if we're out and people want to take photos and things. She's not jealous. She's very encouraging. If I didn't do a video yet, you know, she actually helps me with a lot of my videos that I do. She'll help me with like if I need someone driving the car while I'm doing like a funny bit.
That's her.
She's in it. And she always has ideas and she's like, oh, what if you did this? What if you did this? She's very encouraging and she's awesome. So thank God. If she wasn't that way, I wouldn't be able to. You can't have your passion and your person, have friction. That wouldn't be healthy. So thank God she's very encouraging. She's great, really great.
That is really nice to hear, and I think that's one of the biggest things. You know, I've met so many. I'm grateful enough to have like mentors and clients, super successful guys, and the ones who pick the right person, the right partner, they have so much peace in their life.
Yeah.
You know, things can go wrong. A deal can get lost. They can have a bad day investing or whatever, but it's all good because they know that they have this person and this partner that just brings that loving energy and that peace. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you know, that person can bring a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and it's good to see and it's good to know that like you have a person that really supports your vision.
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
Where did you guys meet?
We actually met at Chabad on Shabbat.
No way.
We met. It wasn't like a singles event. It was just like Shabbat afterwards. They had a meal and like a kiddush. And so we were walking around and I saw her. And I told my friend, I'm like, that girl is gorgeous. And long story short, I took her out that night and...
Which Chabad?
It was Chabad in Hollywood. It was a Chabad in Hollywood there.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was just like after prayer, they had like a...
I go to Chabad. I'm familiar.
Yeah, so...
It was on a Shabbat?
What did you say?
It was on Shabbat?
It was on Shabbat, yeah.
It's amazing.
It's actually it's a longer and funnier story than what I'm just saying.
I want to know. I want to know the story.
So I'll tell you. I have my side and her side of the story.
Okay.
So my side of the story is basically I went with I had a friend over. I was with my dad and my friend. We went after shul. We're going from kiddush to kiddush, like having l'chaims and like and eating and just going around. And we go to this one Chabad and I told my friend I'm like don't get excited. We're both single at the time. We're both the same age. I'm like don't get excited. There's no cute girls our age in this area. Every time I come here, there's nobody there. So like, don't get excited. He's like, okay, fine. We walk in, and then I see from the corner of my eye, right away, I see her. And then I told my friend, that girl is beautiful. She's literally my type. He's like, go talk to her. I'm like, no, I'm too nervous. He's like, go talk to her. I'm like, no, I'm too nervous. My dad at this point, he hears us talking. He's a little bit drunk because, we're having some l'chaims and stuff. He's like, what are you guys talking about? And my friend's like, oh, Yechiel thinks that girl's really cute. He's like, so go talk to her. So I'm like, no, I'm too nervous. He's like, I'm going to go. And she's there with her family and everyone.
Yeah.
And he just walks right up to them. He just leaves. And then my friend's like, I'm also going to go. And he leaves. I'm staying like an idiot by myself. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go also. And I ended up going. And then I started talking with her. And it really hit it off well. And then that night, I took her out on a first date. And since 11 months later, and that's my story. And when I met her, I had no idea. She played off. I had no idea that she knew who I was. Turns out, I met her like a month before at like some event, and we have a picture together. We took a picture together because she saw me from my videos, and she took a photo with me, and which is crazy. And then a week before I met her on Shabbat, her family was by the same shul, and they saw me there. And they told her, this is after she took a photo of me, like, oh, you won't believe who was there. Like, Yechiel was by the thing. And she's like, no, you guys are just saying that. I don't believe you. So that's why she came the next week, because she heard that I was going to be there. And she, like, to kind of, like, but she played it off very, very cool. She didn't come up, like, I almost left, because I didn't want to, I was, like, too nervous or whatever. I almost left. And then she's like, her family said, like, oh, go talk to him before you leave. She's like, no, if he wants to come talk to me, he'll come talk to me. And then we ended up talking. And that's the story.
It's crazy to think about, like, how that little shift, like, what if you didn't approach her? Mm-hmm. Or what if your drunk dad was like, yo, I'm taking matters into my own hands, son. You know what but how often does that happen in life, bro? Where it's like we might see someone that we want to approach or talk to. We might see something that we want to pursue, but we allow the fear to debilitate us from taking action. It's crazy. Yeah, like, so even just like your whole journey, I feel like is about leaning into fear and discomfort.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. My biggest thing, and it's something that I live by, is if it makes you nervous, do it. Really, if it makes you nervous and you have that and the things that make you the most nervous are things that you know you should do. When you know you should do something and you're hesitating, you're so nervous because you know the right thing to do is do it. When you have that feeling, do it. And that's how I live my life by that. As far as the content with the shows, like I started doing comedy shows. I never did a comedy show in my life. My first show I ever did is at the Laugh Factory in LA, full-on comedy show in front of like almost 400 people. I did a 10-minute routine. They called me up. They're like, hey, we see your videos on Instagram, really funny. How would you like to do a 10-minute routine on stage? I'm like, I've never done stand-up comedy in my life. I'm like, I'm so scared. And then they hung up the phone. I go back and forth. I'm thinking, I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. I prepare for 2 weeks. I do it. Best decision of my life. Since then, I've done 40 comedy shows. 40, around the world. I've sold out shows in Australia, Canada, Mexico, Dominican Republic, literally just traveling, doing shows. And it started, I almost didn't do it because of that fear. But you lean into that fear and you do it, something really good could come out of it. And it did.
It really, I have another tattoo that's comfort with a line through it. It's like always leaning into the discomfort.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
Always leaning in. Have you ever taken an ice bath before?
Yeah, I love them.
You take them?
I mean, yeah, I do. I'm not like a diehard. I love to do it. We should go one time. Let's do it. Yeah. I'd love to join.
What do you do in terms of, we talked about like the toll that, constantly being on and creating can take on you mentally, especially, bro, like, let's be honest, some of this stuff is so heavy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's like, if we don't allow ourselves to disconnect, we might just get sucked in. And you've obviously found a way to navigate it in a very healthy, productive way that allows you to actually channel what you do. But what are some things that you do on a daily basis to kind of disconnect from all the noise and preserve your mental health and peace?
I need to do more of it. Truth is, I don't really do that much. I've gotten better. At the beginning, it was very, very unhealthy. I mean, this is my life. It consumes me. Like, it really does. Like, this is what I do 24/7. I go to the gym. I work out. I like to travel when I can, but most times when I'm traveling, it's for like a show. And then anytime I travel somewhere, I'll extend a few days to check out the area. And I watched a documentary on Celine Dion, and she says, I've been around the world, but I've seen none of it. Wow. And she traveled the whole world, and she did shows everywhere, but she never took time to be mindful in the place that she was to check it out. Like, she has amazing opportunities. So I watched it on the plane to a show. I watched that documentary. I'm like, wow, that is so important. I have this opportunity where I could travel places. Don't get too caught up in the work. Extend some time and check out the people, check out the scenery, check out things. So that's what I do. I try to travel as much as I can and then extend and see what's going on. But on a whole, on a day-to-day, I try to work out. I try to, I go to a lot of events and I socialize with people. But for me, that's also working. You know what I mean? Like networking and going to events. But I like to even just go to the movies with my girlfriend or just hang out go for lunch with my mom or, small things like that. And I'm able to like disconnect a little bit, but I'm always thinking. Always.
Yeah. But you're doing it in a way that's like, in a positive way, not a destructive way. Because when you truly are aligned with your purpose, it's hard sometimes to not think about those things,
Right.
you know, which is a beautiful sign that you're on the right path.
Yeah.
What's something, bro, that like, obviously the content, the anti-Semitism, the Israel stuff has been like a huge part of what you've done the last 18 months, right? But it's not all of your identity. Like there's so much more to you without even knowing you, right? I know there's so many different layers to you. There's a lot of depth. What are some things that maybe the world hasn't seen yet about you that you're excited to share more of?
I think even just doing these podcasts where people see the serious side of me, I think that I always liked I always did like public speaking and like for school. Not funny, just public speaking. So I think there's a side of me, there's a serious side to me that likes to get deep and likes to talk and likes to give inspiration, but not from a funny part. Likes to give inspiration from how I'm really feeling and speaking it, kind of like what we're doing here. So I think there's that side to me that I'm kind of discovering as I'm doing this, having like talks with you and doing these podcasts, that I'm learning more about myself and like what I like to do. And this whole thing's a learning curve. I'm being a yes man, doing what makes me uncomfortable and growing this as much as I can and figuring it out. I don't have a map. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just doing. And that's my whole thing.
I love that, bro. At the end of the day, like none of us really know what we're doing.
No.
We're just doing the best we can with the tools we have.
Yeah.
And you're saying yes. You're feeling fear and discomfort and you're like, you know what? I want to say yes to that opportunity. I want to keep growing. And that's what this game of life is all about, is just learning the lessons from our past mistakes, becoming a better version of ourselves every day, and like rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And hopefully have some fun in the process.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if we're too serious, by the way.
No, I love it.
That wasn't my intention.
No,
bro.
we're going with the flow. I really like it.
No, it's good. It's good to have those different perspectives too. Because like you're a dude who has a lot of knowledge and wisdom to share at a young age. And I think it's like different messages resonate with different types of people. So I think it's cool to kind of like have that dance between the humor and then like the more real shit. Like, okay, we're doing this. You know, so that's one side. Were you a super emotional kid? Like when you were younger, did you cry a lot?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah. I used to be very sensitive. Very, very sensitive. I have like on a school bus, someone said something I didn't like, something like a little comment, I would like get off the school bus bawling. I was very, 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 very sensitive as a kid.
Wow.
And then I kind of flipped, and I hated that about me. I really hated it. I felt so like embarrassed and weak, and I really didn't like it. And I think even now, I'm kind of like a little bit emotionally disconnected, a little bit, that I hold back from, you know, I won't let myself cry because I was so like, as a kid, so overly that way, and I really didn't like how it made me feel. So, but yeah, I definitely have a lot of emotion to me that I do hold back. It's just show also, you can feel it, but it's not as much as there's really there, because I kind of like shied away from it since being a child.
Yeah. No, I had a feeling.
Yeah? What made you think that?
No, just because anyone who's an artist, anyone who's a creator, you have to be able to feel deeply. Like to express that part of yourself takes vulnerability. It takes vulnerability. And it's oftentimes the people who are most sensitive that are actually the most powerful, impactful artists. You might not see yourself as an artist, but what you do, what I do to an extent, is a form of art, right? Because art is just self-expression. And when you're doing what you do and you're sharing your content and you're getting into these different characters, that requires a certain level of connection to these deeper parts of yourself, right? So that's why I was like, this guy was probably very emotional as a kid. Like, not in a bad way, in a way that allows you to express more fully.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
That's very observant of you.
Yeah, bro.
That's good, yeah.
When's the last time you cried?
Probably been, I got emotional. I always get emotional in movies, but I never let it happen. I get choked up right here.
Really?
It's always right here, and then I'll never look right or left to see if anyone else is crying, because I don't want to like, you know. But I always get choked up in a good movie.
No way.
Always get choked up.
Okay.
But a proper cry, I can't remember a proper cry. I can't remember a proper cry.
It's interesting. It's interesting. And the reason I'm just bringing this up is because a lot of times we grow up, we become an adult. And by the way, most humans are actually just domesticated adults, right? Like they've just been stuck in a classroom. They're told to learn things that they're not even passionate about. And they're completely disconnected from their soul and their emotions. The reason why I'm sharing this with you, I think it's interesting, is because a lot of times we don't realize why we are the way that we are. Like, how did I become the version of myself that I am today? And a lot of times it stems from our childhood. Those first 7 years of our life are oftentimes when a lot of our mental programming happens. So the fact that you were like super emotional and you were very sensitive and you cried a lot when you were a young boy, and now as an adult, it's a challenge for you to cry, is not a coincidence.
No, for sure not. It's definitely connected, for sure.
It's interesting.
Yeah. If I would have kept, if I wouldn't have put up that barrier, I would be bawling by every movie. Like I get emotion, and I like to get emotion. I like to feel it, but I don't like to show it.
Do you see yourself getting into acting and being in some movies in the future?
Yeah. I would love to. I would love to discover that side of me, because I'm very much, when I do a character, I'm that character. When I've done like a whole bunch of characters on my social media, but when I do them, I'm that person, and I really turn into that person, and I enjoy playing that character. It's really fun for me that I can be like this person and act like, what would they do? Like, I'm literally that person. Like, when I started off doing the Sebastian voice of like, what are you doing? I think in the voice. And I think my humor is different when I think in his voice, because I'm thinking, what would he say? Not what would Yechiel say. So it's very interesting. So acting, do full proper acting, I'm very curious to see how it would be in those situations. I would love to get into it.
What is like an impersonation right now? Like what's your favorite one to do? Obviously the Sebastian one is probably the one you've done most often, right?
Yeah, that was like the foundation. That's what it started on. I didn't start off as my own voice. I started off using the Sebastian voice to respond to these videos, and then I started bringing the woke girl with the colorful wig.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then and I brought in Russian and French and Mexican and
Is there one that you're working on most right now that you're like really excited to master?
Trump, to master Trump, properly master Trump. I've been like a couple of my recent videos I've been using him, and especially with what's going on now in the world, he's a huge part of it. So to have him down pat would be great.
Donald, good old Donald. Why in the world did you decide to bomb Iran?
I ran into problems. They're probably a really annoying country. Melania, she's probably my favorite. And I was going to bomb Melania, but I didn't want to, because probably wouldn't have been a good idea. She's a nasty woman.
No way, bro. Oh, dude, your Trump has gotten so good.
Once I warm up into it, that was good. You put me on the spot there. I appreciate that. But I need to like, I put on the wig and the thing. I'm fully there. I'm getting it.
Wow.
And we do it so bigly.
Trying to think. Oh my gosh, bro, that's so good. The gestures too.
Yeah,
I like his dance is the best. Yeah, like his mannerisms are so unreal.
Yeah, he's so unique. He does like this little like, he does so many things that are so like, it's him. You know what I mean?
What's interesting about the world we're living in right now is like, when I was your age, even, bro, I'm 34, is politics were never something my friends and I spoke about. It was like the last thing I ever wanted to give any energy to, because I just thought it was like completely meaningless. And over the last 5 or 6 years, really since COVID, I feel like there hasn't been a choice. It's like we've made everything so political. Like the whole pandemic, literally, depending on what state you were in, determined your quality of life. Like if you were in California, where I'm from, like you had to be double masked, double jabbed, like 6 feet, 12 feet, 18 feet away. Yeah. Like get away from me, right? Like my dad actually got a ticket and borderline arrested for sitting on a bench by the beach because it was caution taped off. And him and my mom were going on a walk. My dad's in his 70s. And like that is the lunacy of California. And then in Florida, we're like out here popping bottles at the club.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's close together. It's just wild how like we've kind of been forced to care about these things. But I think it's really important, especially like your generation. Politics, is that been something before what was going on? Like, did you ever pay attention to it?
Very, very mildly, but this
Yeah.
definitely brought it out. It's a great point. Like, me and my friends, like everyone's involved in politics now. Everyone wants to know what's going on. I think specifically now because I'm curious if do you see that also in the non-Jewish world, or is this specifically to the Jewish world?
I think on at least my circle of friends, I think everyone is paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
Because even with this last election, I mean, it's scary. It's actually a wild thought experiment. What if somehow, some way, Kamala Harris became the president 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Can you imagine where we'd be right now? Like, Trump has done so many incredible things in only 4 or 5 months. Like, the complete landscape of our country's future has changed when it comes to like economy, securing the border, when it comes to like his foreign policy, like what we just did to Iran to debilitate terrorism and hate all over the world. It's crazy to think about where we would be without Trump right now. It's actually kind of scary to think about that. And what's interesting is a lot of people hate Trump. They're so triggered by him. Hate him or love him, he loves America.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
has
you
our
can-
best
you
interest
feel
in
that,
mind.
Yeah. Yeah, you can feel that with Trump.
But I think everyone's kind of in, like most, at least the people that I'm connected to are all kind of like entrepreneurial, you know, smart, intelligent people that have opinions, right? It's hard not to have an opinion about things that are happening.
Yeah.
And when you start to challenge, when you start to do things that really like are so nonsensical, such as like letting biological men compete in women's sports, these are things that shouldn't even be up for debate. They're just absolutely ridiculous, bro. Like, how could you allow that to happen? And how could you normalize it? How could you justify that?
Right.
And that's where I think a lot of people, including myself, started to wake up and be like, yo, there's something bigger going on here. We have to actually stand up for the truth. You know, because the government, Big Pharma, all of these mainstream media outlets, they want us to be stupid. They want us to be asleep. They want us to be numb. They don't want us to be awake to the truth, because then they can't control us. So you hear the term all the time, the Matrix. What is the Matrix? For me, the Matrix is just this system that's designed to keep you small and weak. It's designed to keep you working a job that you hate. It's designed to keep you chasing something externally to make you feel whole internally. Whether that thing externally is a watch, whether it's a girl, whether it's alcohol, whatever it is. But the way that we break the system, bro, is by connecting to ourselves and connecting to the truth. And that's exactly what you're doing. You know?
Yeah.
You're like, you're breaking free from the Matrix. You're escape from the Matrix. You're actually helping others break free.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I don't know if you think of it like that.
I never thought of it like that, but it's awesome. I like the sound of that.
I'm opening up your mind.
Yeah,
A
for
little
sure.
differently.
Yeah.
A little differently. Have you ever thought or considered doing any like psychedelic, like mushrooms or anything?
My relationship, not really. No, I wanted to do like before like a show, like it's so important to be on. You know what I mean? So I wanted to take something, not necessarily a drug, but even like not caffeine, but some sort of something that's not like heavy, but that kind of just like hyper focus that I could really deliver. And I'm curious, like that's something I've been thinking about. Like maybe if I could find something that I take before a show where I could really, really be on. Because when you're feeling something that can make you feel the best, I think is from shows. I have shows where I killed it, and at shows where I'm like, it was good. So, but the shows that I killed it, I feel a certain way. So if there was something that I could take that will make me for sure feel that certain way, you know, that would be something that would be amazing. Before every show I take that thing. I would, but like I'm not into so much like drugs or anything. Like I've never done like mushrooms or any of that stuff. I did weed, like I smoked weed like as a kid, like here and there, and I had terrible experience with it. I got paranoid, and I'm like, this is not for me, and I'm done. And
Yeah, same here, same here.
yeah.
Were there any common themes with all those performances that you crushed, where it's like, yo, I did this thing the night before, I did this thing the morning of?
Not that I could think of. I probably just need to keep doing it, and I'll find it. I have to figure out what it is. Like what we said before we even got on this podcast, you're talking about energy. You know, I think there's a sense of energy when it's the initial start of the show. If I start off the show and I feel the crowd is responding and I say a joke and they're laughing or like they're cheering and I feel their attention on me, that will turn me on to like, let's go. I've had shows also where the beginning was a little shaky and then I landed a really, really good joke and the crowd's like woke up and then it woke me up and then I went really hard at the end. So it's energy. It's definitely energy.
My favorite thing when I see a comedian like bomb something or they just tell a joke that doesn't land and then they just laugh at the fact that they told a shitty joke.
And then it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it seems like it always works.
Yeah, it does. It does. Like, well, that wasn't funny. And then everyone's like laughing.
Because it's just like laughing at ourselves, being authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's being real. That's what it is. It's like, that wasn't funny. And you're telling people what just happened. People find, also comedians are very much like, we talk about things. Like we're talking about like a lot of my comedy and my comedy set is things that are very relatable. Like I'll mention something and you'd be like, that is such a good call. I never thought about that, but that's so true.
What's an example of something right now?
I have a bit on my bit on El Al. You ever fly with El Al?
Yeah.
So I have a whole bit on El Al, bringing out like the craziest things that happen on El Al, like insane things that happen, and I basically bring it through like an act. I'll bring it up, and it's so funny because it's so relatable. I also have a thing like in the bathroom of an airplane. So I have this bit where I go into character. I'm like talking like I'm like, if you're ever on the bathroom of an airplane and you're sitting on the toilet and you press the flush button while you're sitting, you'll end up in the Pacific Ocean. And I do like a whole act of it. But it's so true. Like you ever press the button and it's so loud.
It like it makes me like uncomfortable. Like that noise is just like, yeah, it's oof. It's violent. It's like
you gotta. There's a strategy. You have to close the cover first, and then you press it, and you like from a distance you have to do it.
Yeah, like I'll try to sometimes like do it with my foot, but it like it's too small, so you can't.
Yeah. That's in the bit also. I do a whole like how to do it with your foot, but stuff like that. It's things that's comedy. Is you could bring out things that everyone sees every day, but never took a second to think a little deeper into it. So if you could get into that and then make it like dramatic, that's gold.
Yeah, I'm sure you might be a fan, but I think probably the comedian that I respect the most, who I think has just been so impactful in my life and is absolutely incredible, is Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And one of the things that for me makes him so unique is like, first of all, this man's in his 70s now and he's still hilarious.
Yeah.
And he's still showing up every day. But he never resorts to like super dark humor. He doesn't really cuss either.
Yeah.
Like he can just make anything funny without it being like sexual, without it being about drugs. You know what I mean? And one of the things that is really cool, like I heard him on Tim Ferriss's podcast. Basically, he has this thing every single day. He just commits to 1 hour of writing material. It might be crappy material. Like he might not be feeling like at his best, but he commits 1 hour, 60 minutes every day to just writing material. And he's done that for like 50 plus years.
Wow.
It's like a beautiful practice.
That's so it keeps him involved, keeps him on his toes.
Yeah. Do you have a similar type kind of routine? Like, do you write every day? Is there a certain time of day where you're like, yo, I'm just going to allow myself to feel whatever's coming through?
I have that before shows. I have my set, but I'll rewrite the whole set from scratch as if I'm writing for the first time. And before a show, like let's say like a month before a show, I have a show coming up August 8th at the Improv Comedy Club in Miami.
Let's go.
So before the show, and now it's in about a month. Now is when I'm gonna kind of I need a goal in order to start doing it. That's just how I work. Like if the show wasn't booked yet, I wouldn't be working on my set right now. I'll be working on content. I wouldn't be working on like writing things down. Now that I know the show's coming up, I have 30 days from now is the show. Now is when I pound it. So I'll write down material. I'm thinking of new things. I'll have time every single day now where I'm taking 20, 30 minutes and I'm just by myself in a room, and I'm thinking of new content. I'm thinking of my current content. How can I make it better? The materials, switch it up for the show.
So August 8th is that show.
Sorry, August 7th. My bad. August 7th. Thursday night.
We should film a separate like promo video for it.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be
We'll
really
do
good.
that.
Thank you.
We'll do that. Is there anything before that?
No, that's the next show coming up. And then
August.
hopefully we're going to be in England, hopefully Israel. We'll get to Israel going. And we have something working up in Montreal, but not confirmed yet.
So exciting, bro.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's beautiful to like witness the journey and hopefully just be part of the path in some small way. It's really cool, man. Is there
Thank you.
anything that we didn't speak about today that you're like, yo, bro, I really want to talk about this. It's close to my heart.
Yeah.
You know, it's really just, this is just an open floor for you, man. I want to just kind of share some of your message or story with the world.
I guess I'll share a message from my whole experience. Number one, I really like the idea of if it makes you uncomfortable, do it. I think people should really apply that to their lives, is push yourself out of your comfort zone. And those are the things where you can really like take it to the next level. That's one thing. And also be happy, smile, take a second to like, my whole thing is laughter, is to really like, don't take life too seriously and take time for laughter. It's so important to smile and be happy. I'm seeing from people's responses to my videos, which I had no idea would have this effect. I'm seeing firsthand the power of people smiling. You're taking a situation that is so dark and so depressing and heavy, and then you're adding laughter to it that can make people really come out of a depression, of this dark place. So take the time, go to a comedy show, watch something funny, check out a page that you think is funny. Take time to laugh and to just be happy and laugh, and don't take life too seriously. I think that's another message.
Yechiel Jacobs, my man, you're an absolute special soul. I'm really
you.
grateful to just witness you, man. Really grateful to have you here. And I'm excited. I'm excited because I know there's even bigger things coming in your future.
Amen.
You know, I've seen these comedians doing like stadium tours. I'm like, oh, Yechiel, that's like, like it's happening, baby. It's happening, man. So thank you so much for just continuing to shine your light.
Thank you, of course.
Yeah, and continuing to really bring so much love and healing energy in a time where there's been so much pain and darkness.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, brother. I'm excited. Guys, we're going to link to all of Yechiel's socials in the show notes. August 7th in Hollywood or in Miami.
Yeah.
It's going to be the next comedy show.
Miami Improv Comedy Club. Show up. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We'll link to the tickets in the show notes. And keep wrapping those to fill in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep celebrating Shabbat. Keep rocking your chain. Be proud.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, be proud of who you are. Be proud to be Jewish. And be happy.
Be happy, baby. Smile. Much love, everyone. Thanks for watching. Peace.
That was legendary.
Let's go.
That was great. Really great.
You did it. You made it to the end of the show. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, your support in listening to this podcast. And really, my mission here is to deliver the best conversations, the best people, so you can continue elevating and becoming the best version of yourself. And all that I ask in return is that you actually take action on the things that we talk about in these conversations, whether it's certain habits to implement or certain thought patterns or belief systems that you want to reprogram and remove from your life. I just want to remind you that your life is your gift and you are the creator. You are the main character of your movie. So please, please take action on these things we discuss. And tag me on social media. Tag me on Instagram in your stories at Jeremy Awakens. Let me know what stood out the most to you. Let me know what were some powerful moments for you from this conversation. And finally, if you haven't already done so, it would mean the world if you left a review for the podcast. Word of mouth is our oxygen. This is what allows us to reach more people and impact more lives. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you next time.